As you can probably tell, I'm wearing a Donald Duck hat. And yes, I'm going to be wearing this for the remainder of the video. What is up, guys? It's Mega Man Chief Fan here. Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be doing my second YouTube update, that is, for BookTubeAthon. I have had loads of fun with BookTubeAthon, if not a little too much. I think I'm probably going to double the amount of books that we were supposed to read for BookTubeAthon, because I have read... Let's see, I have Goodreads pulled up, so I'm just going to look real quick. 9 books! 9 books I've read so far in BookTubeAthon. I started 10, but, I started another one. I didn't start 10, but I started another one, so that makes 10, that's what it's supposed to mean. But I didn't finish that, and that was The Running Man by Stephen King, so not a fan of that book. But, yeah, I'm really a big fan of, BookTubeAthon so far, and it's sad that it's ending on Sunday, but I don't care, it's been fantastic. So, what have I read so far since the last update? Well, first off, I read Steppenwolf by Herman Hesse, and, I was somewhat disappointed with this book, but it was still alright. I kinda liked it. I more like the first half than the second half. The second half I just kinda like, whatever, too, but the first half really impressed me, then it just kinda went a little downhill, so I gave it a flat 3 out of 5. But, I love Siddhartha, but I didn't have the same feeling with this. So, yeah, Herman Hesse's Steppenwolf, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but, you know, it was good. It was alright. And then I read, One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich by, Alexander, I'm gonna get this, Solzhenitsyn? One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich. But this is the Everyman's Library edition. It is absolutely gorgeous, and this is an absolutely fantastic book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 on Goodreads. I really enjoyed it. It's brutal. One of the darkest reads I've read so far. Probably this summer. It's incredibly depressing, and technically, this is, okay, spoiler territory for here until, like, a certain part of the video. I'll tell you when the spoilers stop, but yeah, I just want to say something real quick. This accounts a good day on a camp. A good day. And it still sounds like absolute torture. This is like, oh my god, that is just incredibly depressing. Especially when he's at the end, laying on his bed and talking to his fellow comrade. And it's just like, it's so, he's just describing how it was actually a better day in the life of his sentence. And it was just... It just struck me. It just really struck me. And I really enjoyed that book, even though it was horribly depressing. Okay, the spoilers ends here if you skip through the video, so yeah. And the next up is... Oh, I just looked at it. And all the memories are flushing back already. And it's Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. I'm not going to talk that much on this book because I am saving it for the review I'm going to do for the 100 subscriber special, which we'll get to that in a little bit. But, yeah, Never Let Me Go. I loved it. And, shout out to Al from The Bookish Bastard for, making this nomination, because I absolutely loved it. I didn't love it as much as her. I think she gave it a 5 out of 5, but I gave it a 4 out of 5, so yeah, really loved it still. And then, probably the most I'm not really saying this is a disappointing book, but it's definitely the worst book besides One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and that's The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. I know loads of people love this book, but honestly, I just found this so hit and miss. Some of the stories were fantastic, but a lot of them were pointless and did nothing for the story. Like, you could have easily cut, even though it's really short, you could have cut this book in half and nothing would have changed. It just, I personally didn't enjoy this book, and I think in my high school, we study this in AP Literature, so I'm not really that excited to being forced to reread this book, so I'll hold on to it, I guess, just in case if I do for AP Lit, but once I'm out of high school, I think I'm getting rid of this, because I do own it. And finally, it's probably the best book that I've read so far in BookTubeAthon that is not a reread, because then that would be Catcher in the Rye. But the new book, like, new to me, it is Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides. I could not express my love for this book. I was going into it with no expectations whatsoever. I've heard some good things, I've heard some bad things, just about Jeffrey Eugenides in general, so I was kind of skeptical on going into this novel, and I was worried it was going to be bad. And boy was I wrong, because it's absolutely fantastic. I cannot express... this is one of the most dense books I've read in a while, probably since Bleak House, but, yeah, Middlesex, its story just gripped me throughout the entire thing. I really like the characters. I really like how their uniqueness. I really like Milton. I think Milton is the best character. I'm putting that down. My favorite character is Milton. Let's just put it on the table. But, yeah, Middlesex, I just loved it. Oh, hold up. I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to end it because I haven't talked about the best part about this book. And the thing that shocked me the most. The writing! Oh my goodness, the writing in this book is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love how this book was written. And honestly, I could easily... I think I'm tempted to even read the marriage plot, even though I heard it's horrible. Like, Middlesex just had such great writing to it that I feel like I could just... it's so amazing. I can't believe it. Just read Middlesex. It's absolutely fantastic. Don't start with the virgin suicides. Don't start with the marriage plot. Start with Middlesex, because it'll definitely get you a good taste with Jeffrey Eugenides, even though I haven't read any other Eugenides books. And I don't have the last book that I read with me because it was a library copy, and it was The Driver's Seat by Muriel Spark. I always had that name. I always had trouble with that name, Muriel. So I may be even saying it wrong. It's more like Muriel. But Muriel Spark, it was alright, I guess. I liked the second half more than the first half. It's kind of the opposite of Steppenwolf, where I like the first half and not the second half. I like the second half of this book, but the first half was boring! Oh my goodness, okay. I was not expecting it to be absolutely nothing for the first 2 chapters. Like, this is a really short book. It's practically a novella. But the first 50 pages of this book, which means it's 100 pages long, and 50 pages of it could have easily been cut out. Because it's just so bland in the beginning. It's about nothing. It's just, it introduces his characters, and they walk around for 2 chapters before we finally get into a story. And when it does tell a story, it is good, but I'm worried that Muriel Spark is just going to be one of those authors that thinks she's telling something special, but really she isn't. She's just describing mundane things. I hate it when authors do that, when they think they're more special than they actually are. That's one of my fears of being a writer, is that I feel like I'm going to go into that category as a writer, but that's just something that annoys the living crap out of me. So, Muriel Spark, it's plagued with that, but overall it was decent. When it was good, but just, I don't know, it wasn't all for me. So what am I going to read next? These 2 books should probably get me to the end of BookTubeAthon, but that is, one of them is Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. I have not started this yet. I feel like it's going to be, horribly depressing, like I said on my Twitter update. So, yeah, Memoirs of Geisha, really pretty excited to try this out, actually. It looks really good. And finally, it's probably the most praised book on my pile. It has like 1.5 million ratings on Goodreads, and it has a 4.5 average. Oh my goodness, if it wasn't for the last Harry Potter book, I think this would be the best rated book on Goodreads. I'm convinced. And that is The Help by Catherine Stockett. And I have started this one, and it's good. Yeah, I'm not totally blown away by this book already. For right now, it just seems like kind of like a diet version of To Kill a Mockingbird, which is one of my personal favorite books of all time. Love To Kill a Mockingbird. But The Help just kind of seems like a more generic version of that. I'm not really getting attached to the characters at all. I'm just, in the story, while good, I'm not really gripped on to either. So, it's a decent start, I guess. So, but whenever it's good, it is good. But it's just, the switching of perspectives between Aibileen, I think that's how I pronounce her name, and a Minnie, that's just kind of confusing me at first, but I think I'll get used to it as I go along, because if I was able to go with the switching perspectives in Bleak House, I think I can do the switching perspectives in here. So, yeah, The Help by Catherine Stockett. I think I'm going to like this. I just need to give it more time, but I'm definitely not giving this a 5 out of 5 like most people. Alright, so I know that was a shorter video, but that was the video, and before I go, oh my goodness! Peter! Like, okay, So if you don't know, Peter Likes Books, the fantastic booktuber. Just go check him out. This is not just because he shouted me out. Just go check him out. I've been subscribed to him for a while, but Peter Likes Books just shouted me out in one of his videos. We're going to do a buddy read of The Absolute True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, which I'm really excited about. It's my first YA book in a long while, so hopefully I enjoy it. But, yeah, Peter just recently shouted me out, and now I'm already almost at 150 subscribers. Just, Peter, if you're watching this, thank you so much. And the only way I could do this is give you a shout out back. Everybody go subscribe to Peter Likes Books. He's the greatest. He's one of my personal favorite booktubers. I literally, sometimes, like last night, I was just like scrolling on Twitter, just seeing whether his video is up or not. Just getting that tweet that, is that what I think it is? Is that a fly? I am really, Peter, I cannot thank you enough. Everybody go subscribe to Peter Likes Books. I love the guy. He's fantastic. And now that will do it for the video, unless that fly interrupts me again. No? Okay. So comment down below on how your BookTubeAthon is going. Are you failing? Are you succeeding? Or are you just on track? And also, one more time, thank you, Peter Likes Books. I know I'm just like, I'm running out of things to say. I need to end this before this video gets awful. So, as always, I'm Mega Man Chief Fan. And I'll see you later, guys.